God, I wish these guys would hurry up. Holy crap, did you guys see that? Those freaking Jason Voorhees. We gotta get in one of these rooms. Come on, come on. Did you hear that? Guys, he's coming through the door. Come on, we gotta get out of here. Through the window. Come on, through the window. Let's go. Trouble. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. What are you doing? Don't go behind the tree. Don't. What are you? He's gonna see you there. He's gonna see. Get the hell out of here. Oh, there's a boat. There's a boat. I'm going down to the boat. I'm gonna get down the boat. Get in the boat. Get in the water. Hide. I'll admit there's at least a small part of me that thinks this was a dumbass decision. Oh, shit. I must have fallen asleep. Where the hell am I? God. Man, like, first y'all make me get chased around the freaking woods by Jason, and now you want to throw me down in here with Freddy. You want me to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Fine. You know what? Let's do it. But I'm going to start this shitty dream off with a shitty nightmare. We're going to start with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. This movie takes everything that wasn't working with Part 4 and amplifies it. Alice does get a little bit better. I like Alice because she doesn't go on any kind of journey. She's already arrived. But she, is the final confrontation, good versus evil. She has all these powers. The fact that he's going after her baby is sort of interesting, going into the unborn child dreams. The little boy's creepy as hell, but it's... Anyway, but you know what's not creepy? Baby Freddy, the little tiny baby Freddy thing. He's laughable, he's silly. The whole ending is silly. You keep giving us more lore, bringing in Amanda Kruger, telling us more and more. But you're not giving us anything else. We already knew most of this stuff. You're just kind of beating a dead horse at this point. And this last time I watched this movie, it was an absolute chore to get through. I really didn't enjoy anything outside of maybe Dan's death. Boyfriend Dan had a pretty cool death on the motorcycle. Great effects, great practical effects. And I'll be honest, when I met that guy back in Part 4, I did not think that I was going to be upset when he finally bit the bullet. I didn't even think he was going to get out of that movie. So when he finally did go, kind of sad, especially when I found out he was going to be a father shortly thereafter. So, but it cannot save the movie. Robert Englund is full parody at this point. There's too many jokes, not enough scares. The makeup jobs have just gotten worse and worse. It's probably because Robert Englund got sick of sitting in that damn chair. I don't blame him. But it shows in the way Freddy looks. And this is the worst looking Freddy for me. This or maybe Freddy's Dead. But this is definitely in the conversation. And I'm just not a big fan of this movie. So number 9 on my list is easily Part 5. And we're going to roll right into number 8. Because the faster I get this done, the faster I can get the hell out of here and hopefully wake up. Number 8 is going to be Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Again, I said parody in the last one. And we're continuing that even more so with this one. Again, Freddy is not scary. We have gone full-on commercial pop icon. He is more dollars and cents than scares and thrills. But what saves this movie for me is there are a few moments of genuine laugh-out-loud comedy, for me at least. The map says we're fucked, makes me crack up every time. And also, when Freddy is sneaking behind Carlos when he's deaf, and like hollering, that makes me laugh every time too. So this movie at least gets some joy out of me. Some of the moments are super campy, but it at least makes me laugh. So that alone is enough for me to push this slightly above Part 5, simply because Part 5 doesn't elicit much response outside of making me want to fall asleep. So Freddy's Dead is almost like a car wreck. You just can't stop looking at the travesty that's in front of you. Again, they try to make it a mystery, but there's no real mystery. I don't think we ever really thought that John Doe was Freddy's son. I feel like everybody kind of felt that they were setting the little girl to be Caitlin or Catherine. So anyway, the movie just really doesn't work on a lot of levels outside of the occasional chuckle. Again, and those two moments make me genuinely laugh out loud. So I'm going to give it a little bit of respect and put it at number 8, just slightly above Part 5. Still a dumpster fire, still a shit sandwich, just not a soggy one. Next, and the last of this trilogy of shit that these are the 3 movies that I don't really venture back to very often. Number 7 is going to be Part 4. This movie does the classic thing that I can't stand. Alien 3 did it. Freaking Halloween 5 did it. You bring back characters that survived the last movie, and then you systematically kill them off, either at the very beginning or very early in the movie. And they do that with Kincaid, Joey, and Kristen. And you also throw in the fact that Kristen has unfortunately been recast. I believe it's Tuesday Night plays her in this one. We lost Patricia Arquette. So it's disconnected. Even though we're trying to carry over, you really invalidate their victory where they defeat and kill Freddy in the previous movie. And then you introduce characters that we then don't care about. They're less developed. And then you just systematically kill off most of them too. So this is where Freddy starts to become way too much about the creative kills and the funny lines, funny one-liners. So we're moving away from the genuine terror and getting more into the comedy. And in this movie is where they really start to lose me. This tape was at my grandmother's house growing up, so this is by far one of the ones that I've watched the most. But as I grew up and the more I watched it, the more I realized it's just full of problems. You throw in the fact that they literally ran out of money and had to do a 1v nobody fight with Freddy. It's just, that's strike 3. You're done. I'm sorry. So easily, those are the 3 worst Nightmare movies for me. Part 5, Part 6, and Part 4. Unfortunately, my wife joined me for a binge of those 3 yesterday, so... But we survived, and this one, we're done talking about what I feel were the shitty Freddy movies, so let's go ahead and... And what are we doing here? We're just gonna stand in this one place, you're gonna get me a chair, a glass of water. It's hot down here, man. It's hot. Come on, what are we doing?
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Yeah, but it's not the 3rd act yet, and I'm the hero, so I feel like I'm okay right now, right?
We'll see, bitch. We'll just see.
I'm just gonna go take a look around. Is that okay? Alright, I'm gonna go. Alright. At least pretty decent. I could get an interior decorator down here. Might have something going, but... anyway, now that we have some alone time, do you want to continue the list? And the faster we get it done, faster we can get the hell out of here. Cool. So... number 6 is gonna be the remake. It just doesn't work for me. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people do. Jackie Earle Haley, I think, is very serviceable in a role that he never in a million years had a chance to live up to. But he does a very good job. His voice is good enough, save for his moans that he does all the time. But other than that, it works, and I don't like his face. I don't like the true-to-life burn victim look. I'm not a fan of that at all. Although Kyle Gallner and Rooney Mara have proven that they are very capable, these are not their best performances. I know that they're portraying people that are supposed to be very sleep deprived, but man, they just, for lack of a better term, sleepwalk through the entire movie, and they just give no real believable emotion in moments that call for it. So the movie probably shouldn't have even been made. If you're going to make another Nightmare on Elm Street, tell an original story. Don't go back and tell the original that's already done so perfectly. So this movie didn't need to exist, but it does. It's okay, but it's easily going to be number 6 on my list. Just another one that I don't watch very often. If I want to see this story, if I want to see Nancy and Tina, I'll watch the original. So, but yeah, it's okay. It's not offensive to me. Number 6, the remake. So, I guess I'm gonna go over here.
No running in the hallway.
What? All right, really, this place is pretty cool. I like this. It's different. It's a little different than the last place. So, let's talk about the 2 entries that are likely the most different in most fans' eyes. And we'll start with number 5 is going to be Freddy 2, Freddy's Revenge. So I won't even get into Jesse's sexuality. You know, there are possibly 2 love interests in this movie. Who knows? But I like Freddy. He is kind of a demon sort of look. He really sinister, really evil. Doesn't get put out in the bright light very often until the very end of the movie. But I love the end of the movie. I know that it violates a lot of the rules that were set in place in the first, but seeing him run about and slash and kill all the people, and then when he's standing there behind the fire with the fire behind him, and you are all my children now. That's worth it to me. So I love that whole segment. And again, like I said, I like most of the characters. If you just want to sit back and poke fun at this movie, that also works. You can totally sit back and nitpick every little thing. But for me, it just kind of falls right smack in the middle. It doesn't offend me. I don't love this movie. I don't watch it very often. But I don't feel like you should lump it in the bottom of this franchise with the other 3. I just think it's kind of a unique entry. And if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. You'll have fun. If nothing else, you'll have fun. And you can also say that about number 4 on our entry, which is Freddy versus Jason. Now, I've already covered this back when Jason was chasing me, but I think this movie works even better as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, because Freddy seems to be the one that is certainly the early parts of the movie are focusing on as he's recruiting Jason, and he's the one that has the dilemma, has the antagonist in Jason, because he won't stop killing. It's a really fun movie, and there are a couple of really nice nightmare sequences built in throughout. Jason gets a lot of the glory, a lot of the kills, which is contrary to what Freddy wanted in the end. So, but again, if you could give me a better way to get these 2 guys together, I'm all ears. But we get almost 20-25 minutes of them fighting. I think both guys get moments to shine. Freddy's super fast, quick Tai Chi I didn't expect that at all, so that was amazing. I just enjoy putting this movie on. Again, is it going to win an Oscar? It's not. But in the list of best Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies, for that matter, it deserves to be closer to the top than the bottom. It succeeded in what it was trying to do, and for me, it's number 4 on my list of Nightmare on Elm Street films. So, I mean, Freddy, what are we doing here, bud? Are we are you gonna let me go? Can I wake up now? What are we doing? I'm ready to kind of get the show on the road.
Your wish is my command.
Whew. Whoa. All right, so I'm back at the beginning. So they probably want me to go ahead and finish the list. All right, Freddy, I'll finish your game here. But number 3 is gonna be Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Freddy's back, sort of. So in this kind of weird meta story that Wes Craven came up with just a few years before he reinvented horror with Scream, he kind of dabbles in the metaverse, so to speak. We have a self-aware script where Heather Langenkamp comes back playing herself, considering playing Nancy again in this new Freddy movie that they're talking about playing. And because we have, the real actors and actresses and the real director, and even Bob Shea makes an appearance in the film, it has an element of realism and terror that has been sorely missing from this franchise for a long time. After 4, 5, and 6, they had to hit a hard reboot, and I think Wes Craven's New Nightmare was perfection. I remember watching it as a kid, and it scared the shit out of me. And up until that point, Freddy had been mostly a joke to me, so it worked. It worked for me. I liked the look. I liked the story. I liked the way they came up with this evil entity who has kind of latched itself to the idea of Freddy Krueger and is, portraying him and going after Nancy because of that and trying to free itself. So I think the story works. I love the finale where she goes into the dream world to save her son. Has a lot of there's money behind this movie, so it has a lot of really cool effects, some practical effects, some genuine scares. Robert Englund gives a fantastic performance. Heather Langenkamp again comes back, gives a fantastic performance. I really like this movie, and again, it's easily top 3. There was a time where it probably would have been in consideration for my favorite, but I've grown to appreciate the other 2 ahead of it just a bit more. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2 on my list. Is actually the original from 1984. Now, I shouldn't have to defend why it's here. I should defend why it's not number 1. So obviously it earns its spot at the top or near the top of the list because of the masterful performance from Robert Englund. They thought that they could move on in the franchise without him after the first one. They actually shot some of part 2 without him after he asked for a raise. And I think they quickly realized that he was the magic. He was the essence. I mean, it's a great idea. Wes Craven came up with a great idea. Heather Langenkamp, Johnny Depp, there are some great performances in there, but Freddy is Robert Englund, and this was our first exposure to him. There are some great moments, with him stretching out his arms. I think that the part where he comes out of the wall, and they just use a bed sheet, it was really inventive. They try to digitize all that shit in the remake, and it just looks so much better back then. Obviously, you have Tina's death. Again, better back then. Just done so violently, so creatively. Johnny Depp's death obviously is relatively tame at first, and then you have the blood geyser. Again, hearing all the stories about how they did this back then makes me love this movie so much more. I appreciate it. Freddy's still scary. Again, it set the framework for the franchise. For the most part, I mean, they've been bending and breaking the rules ever since. Save part 2, they completely threw the book out the window. But for the most part, we try to stay true to Freddy's powers that are set up in this movie. It's scary. It would have worked as a one-off. This movie in and of itself is effective, and it absolutely deserves the number 2 spot. But let me explain to you why it's not my favorite. And I know I'm not the only person that feels this way, but my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie is part 3, Dream Warriors. And it's multifaceted. There are many reasons why. Again, I think that this is peak Freddy. Robert Englund has figured out the role. He's playing it perfectly. I think that this is the peak look of Freddy. There are more sinister looks, scarier looks, but this is my favorite look of Freddy. I think that they toe the line between horror icon and pop icon perfectly. They allow him to have some really funny wisecracks. I mean, this movie has some of his best. I mean, Welcome to Primetime, bitch, is obviously one of the best. So, and I also really like the marionette kill. That gives me the heebie-jeebies just watching his veins pop out, and then it's really cool. I like stop motion stuff, so the little stop motion Freddy's really cool. And the movie again at the end starts to lose me. I don't love the superpower thing, but they do it really well. It's kind of fun. I really do like when the wizard guy tries to use his superpowers on Freddy, and he just literally just ices him. I don't believe in fairy tales, and so it makes for some wonderful moments. And these are by far the best cast of characters, even better than the first, because you bring Heather Langenkamp back as Nancy. This is the true sequel to the first movie. You bring her back as an expert trying to help these new kids. Patricia Arquette is amazing, and the fourth movie missed her so much, because if she had been Kristen in the fourth movie, it might have been better received by me, but her performance, I think, is really good, especially for a horror movie. Immediately, spoiler alert, years later, but immediately after Nancy dies, her trying to, consoling her and telling her that she'll send her to a wonderful dream place forever. Man, it broke my heart this last time I watched that movie. It was so good, so amazing. And this is easily, again, this movie gives you everything. It gives you horror, laughs, heart, And it's again really just a well-crafted horror movie in my opinion. It's number one on my list of Nightmare on Elm Street films. So, is that enough? Can I get out of here, or I mean, what's gonna happen? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Be a good little doggy and go fetch.
Whew. Fuck, I gotta work tomorrow.